that told me, listen, I've been in church with my daddy all my life. I ain't doing nothing in your church.
Gonna sit back and just
I'm gonna
watch.
sit back and just, I'm your wife. I'm not gonna be your first lady.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy ET. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And we are back, and we appreciate each and every one of you for coming back as well. Now, whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of the other venues, I mean, and it could be a host of them, right? Whether you're on Google, on Amazon Music, wherever you are, we're just going to ask that you do a couple of things. And that is reach out, text a friend of yours right now, say, hey, I'm listening to this amazing podcast, and there's this interview that's about to take place. Get them to go and listen to this episode because they're going to be blessed. They're definitely going to be blessed.
Yep.
So here's the thing. If you are on Spotify or Apple, be sure to put 5 on it, right? Put 5 on it, like we say out in California, especially the Yay area. But
don't sing. Stop.
See, look, you don't want me to sing. You're going to have to go to Apple or Spotify and leave a review.
Yes.
Right. Otherwise, I'm just going to sing. And trust me, y'all don't want me to sing. Sex definitely doesn't want me to.
Anyway.
Between you and him, I don't know.
So you hear some other voices out here. And if you're on YouTube right now, you can see that we have this beautiful couple with us this evening. And so I want to take the opportunity to welcome Mavis and Bishop McKnight to the podcast. How are you two doing?
Excellent.
Very good.
Excellent.
Excited to be on your show.
Very excited.
So you guys may remember Mavis because she's been on our show before. And we brought her back, and Bishop came too. We're going to talk about their favorite subject, which is sex.
It's not just sex.
She said, did you hear her? She said,
No, I mean, it's not just sex. No. The title of the book is For a Hot, Spicy, Sexy Marriage. It's about the marriage, and sex is one of the ingredients.
The ultimate guide for a hot, spicy, sexy marriage. And then I want y'all to see this the cover. And it says on here, we're going to get into this too. And Christians do it too.
That's right.
Let the church say amen.
Amen. Let the choir sing.
Look,
that's God's gift to believers.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So, we are going to jump into that. We're going to give you a platform to talk about the book a little bit. But like we always do, we want to get into the love story.
Oh, yeah.
I let Snooks always lead on this.
No, I mean, I just, we want to hear about you all's, the origin story. You guys are really going to want to hear this. It's a really good story. So hit us with it, but make sure that we get to this. I'm holding the sex book in my hand, y'all. It's not a sex book, but I like to say that.
It's an educational sexual guide.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
But really, talk about, how did you two meet? If I know it's it can be a long story, but I really want you guys to give us the condensed version of the amazing story of what became
Of the
McKnight
McKnights.
couple.
You know how when you're watching TV and they have this lady running on the beach in the sand and this guy is looking after her, chasing her. Well, it all started with us. We were about 12 years old, 13,
14.
about 14. Mavis was sitting on my left. I was sitting on my right. I was staring out the window and I turned and I looked at her. And when I looked at her, I got locked in on her because I don't normally stare at ladies. I looked at her and I just began to meditate. I said, something special about that girl. And I'm like, cool. Just kept staring. I looked at her hair and her skin and looked at everything. And I'm like, wow, why am I staring at her? I don't normally stare at ladies. So I said, oh, wow. So I felt a connection that day, but we were just two students going to school. But God had dropped something in me when I was staring at her because we both went on our lives and, did different things. So I found myself divorced, and I've always had this stance: I'm not gonna have sex till I get married. So when I first got saved, that was my vow to God. I said, God, if you prove to me you're real, I'll follow you. So he began to show me different things. So I found myself single. So I said, God, I need a wife. Got on my knees and I prayed. I said, Lord, I need a wife. I had started the church and my vow was no sex before marriage because I had started the ministry and I go all in on whatever I'm doing. So I asked God for a wife. And then I said, okay, I don't know if God said, what do you want? But I took out a pencil and paper and I wrote out a whole list of the qualities of the woman I wanted. I put it under the bed. And when I went to sleep, God dropped Mavis in my face, into my mind. I'm like, Mavis, I have to find her. I owned a photography company, so I go to San Francisco. God gave me the dream. I go to San Francisco, bump into her sister and her husband. I'm like, hey, excuse me, I'm looking for Mavis, but can you guys connect me? Oh yeah, we're gonna connect you. Get back from San Francisco, don't hear from her. I went into real estate. I'm doing real estate, and I'm at my real estate finance company. Her brother and his wife comes up there. And I said, Charlie, I said, I'm looking for Mavis. Is she single? What's going on with her? How do I find her? How do I connect her? I've been looking for her for a couple of years. And he says, all right. And I said, no. I'm not going to talk to you. You're a queen. Excuse me. You married to this guy? Let me talk to you. I said, I've tried 3 or 4 people in their family. Are they hiding Mavis from me? What? And I said, Lord. So I started talking to her. I said, tell me your name. She told me her name. I said, I work in this office that you guys are coming to. It's going to be an easy assignment. Tell Mavis where I work at and tell her I want her phone number. So nothing happens again. I put a big ad in the LA Sentinel advertising my real estate services. And then Mavis's sister, who I hadn't talked to, says, Mavis, you want to tell this part?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so she goes, Mavis, I found Corky in the newspaper. He does real estate loans. He does call him and get a hookup for us. Not that everybody been telling you, I've been telling her whole, in fact, let me bag up. When God told me to find Mavis, I went to her dad's church, big church. And Bishop, her father, knew me. So I walked up, I said, he goes, oh, good to see you here, son, good to see you. I said, Dad, I'm looking for Mavis. He goes, oh, she's gonna be here any minute now. She plays the keyboard, she does all the music stuff for us. I said, where should I sit? He goes, sit right there. I said, right in front of the church. I normally would have faded to back, just kick it. But I followed Daddy. La da 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 da. The praise and worship sang. La da 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 da. The pastor's introduction being done. Da 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 da. The sermon is done. They do an altar call, and I'm like, he walks up to me after church, says, Mavis never missed church. Mavis was supposed to be here. I said, Pops, I'll connect with you later. I gotta go. I had a contract with the city of Inglewood. I go do the photography for them. Her other sister is there. I said, Nita, where's Mavis? I said, are you guys hiding her from me? I came to church. I saw the next one at the real estate, saw the next one in San Francisco. What is the story? And then she goes, oh, I'll connect. Didn't do anything. So I'm in the newspaper. Cheryl has her call to get a hookup, not to find me, the man that asked everybody about her. So here's Mavis sitting right here. Hello. I said, hello, how can I help you? Well, my sister and I, we're looking to get a loan, and we thought we'd give you a call to talk to you. I'm like, I know that voice. I know that voice. I said, Mavis? Yes. I said, Mavis, it's me. Well, I want to talk about business. Let's just talk about this. I said, wait. I'm not going to talk no business with you. So I told her everything I told you. I talked to your daddy, your sister, came to church, did everything, and nobody connected us. She goes, well, we'll finish our business first, and then we'll talk. And I'm like, this girl. I said, all right, I'm going to need your phone number. I'm not letting her get away. I'm going to need the phone number. Let me have the phone number. Here's my numbers, everything. So we talked. And I said, Mavis, I've been looking for you. I got to connect to you. You know, I don't know if I told her about what God showed me in the dream, but I had a full list of everything I wanted in the woman. And she hit every last one of them. So I'm like, yeah, this is God. This is God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. No, I'm teasing. She will shine the Honda. Come.
So I'll pick up the story from here.
Okay.
So I just want to back up just a little bit. So when he saw me on the bus and he had this revelation, that he was supposed to be connected with me, he had known my father, because they said he did the photography, and he would see my father, and every time he would see my father, he would ask about me and say, I was supposed to marry your daughter.
Right.
So my father would come back and tell me every time he would see Carl, and he would be like, you ought to marry Corky. And I was just like, no, he's too holy for me. Because he was like super churchy. So I was just like,
I was a true believer. Carried the Bible everywhere I went.
Super churchy.
Super churchy.
Yeah. So then, my father said that. I was like, no. And so anyway, when we saw the ad in the paper, that was kind of a running joke because everybody knew he liked me. So my sister was like, call him so you can get a hookup, because he's gonna give you a hookup.
She saw all those waves all in my head, going all the way back down that neck.
Rico Suave. I had to call. So I did call him, but I was calling to mess with him. That's exactly what was in my mind. I was calling him to mess with him, and I wasn't even like true to the whole we trying to get a hookup thing. That was just like part of the trick. So
I never knew to this day.
So when he started telling me, that he'd been looking for me, and he's a pastor, and he said, I'm having my first church banquet, and I want you to come and be my guest. And he just going on and on and on. I'm like,
ask her, how did she respond?
I said, well, I got my son and my nephew tonight. He was like, well, I'll pay for a babysitter. I said, well, I don't have nothing to wear. And he was like, well, I'll buy you something new. And I said something else. And then he had to come back for that. And I was just like, well, I don't know. I'll see.
That's exactly what she told me. Like, what?
So when I hung up the phone from talking to him, because he said he was a pastor, and I wasn't really trying to do that, because my father's a pastor. And I said, when I hung up the phone, I said, have a nice life. I will never call you again.
Wow.
After everybody telling her San Francisco, Carson, California,
nobody told me none of that. But my father was really the only one telling me that. So I couldn't even, the words couldn't even get out of my mouth quick enough. And then God just brought this thought. He said, that's who you're going to marry. And I was just like, what? Because I wasn't looking to get married because I'm like, I got too much personal work to do. And, I was not even thinking about that. But you know how they say when you're not thinking about it, that's when the thing happens.
Mhm.
So, and that's exactly what happened. So it was truly God that brought us together, even though, I had my own plans. And I didn't know he had all this going on with his, paper and writing down a list and God telling him it was me and all of that. But God had different plans for me, not for him, but for me. And once he said that, and it was just like after that, it was like this whirlwind, perfect engagement.
Player,
We were
player. Get
Player,
him,
player,
Jesus.
come on, come through, player.
Lord have mercy.
Go ahead, baby.
So so the first thing he did, he was just like I don't remember the 3 dates line that he always shares, but
No,
he
let-
said he
let
was
me-
gonna
go
take me
ahead.
on 3 dates. And if I make the fourth date, he was gonna marry me. But I don't remember that conversation, but he remembers it like very, very clearly.
she
So-
she was still in her haterism. She just wanted the real estate loan and discount.
I probably was. Right.
Just
So-
get it. Mavis is an end product. Whatever Mavis does, she don't play with the little stuff. She get right to the nitty gritty.
Get it done, son.
And
Get it
I
done.
was serious because I didn't want to break my covenant with God. So I would never take a girl past 3 dates. In fact, I'd take them on one and like, nope. So I can tell Mavis the color of her coat when she was 12. When God had me look at, I have a photographic memory. So when I looked at her, it locked in. And whenever I would think about her, I think about all that. Her and all her sisters had all this long hair. And I just like long hair. So I'm like, I saw Mavis, the picture stuck in my head when I got on my knees and prayed because I'm like, God, I can't go out like a chump. A lot of ladies in the church and they smiling and here we had first like the church went from 4 people to 13 people to 37 people in 3 weeks. And then we was rolling for a year. So we ended up, Mavis and I said, because I had to be serious because I wasn't going to break my covenant with God. So I said, hey, listen, I'm going to take you on 3 dates. I said, if you make the fourth one, I'm going to marry you. And like Mavis said, God was the anointing was on our relationship, our first date, second date, third date.
Sure was.
It flowed.
Yeah.
It wasn't I didn't have to put my Pimp Daddy Mac game on.
You tried to on that first date, but anyway.
I loved how intelligent she was. It was so many qualities that was on my list. I'm like, check, check, check. My daughter said, Daddy, what is that? I handed it to her. I said, I'm going to find a woman with these qualities. And then after she meets Mavis, Daddy, Mavis have all those qualities. So I didn't think about Mavis. She goes, yes, right. You are. Look at you smiling, Daddy. So I got to throw this one in. In that quick little zone, in that little space where I asked God for a wife, and I took my daughter out on Valentine's Day. I took her, got her hair done, her nails done, took her to breakfast. In the middle of the day, I took her to Starbucks, and we were having coffee at like 4:00. She goes, Daddy, I need to talk to you. Me and my friends, we had plans, and you messed them all up. If you don't have a girlfriend or a wife by next year, we're going to find you one. I said, what? I said, a whole lot of girls who like to be spoiled by their daddy. Daddy, I'm telling you, next year, I'm going to be with my friends. You better get married and find somebody. I'm like, I do everything for you. Daddy, get your wife.
Wow. She's like, look, man, you have to move
on. What'd you say?
So your daughter was like, you got to move on. Okay.
That's
She was
I got
it.
plans.
She knew what to do.
I told her mom, you just got married. Give me my baby. I want to raise my baby. And so that's why she was there with me. But when she fired me, I knew I had to marry Mavis.
Yeah. And then on our dates, the 3 dates that he was talking about. Okay, so the first date we went to Pancho's, and when I when he first called me, he said, where do you want to go? I said, I didn't know. He said, what kind of food you like? And I said, Mexican food. And he said, okay, by the time I pick you up, I'll have somewhere for us to go. And I was done at that point. I said, a man that knows how to plan a date, I think I was had at that point. And then the second date, we went to go see Mavis, and he was really for me. But we were in the car, and he said, okay, get the tickets and then I'll give you the money back. I said, okay. And I was like, okay, I don't know if he's gonna be one of them. So true to his word, he gave me the money back. And I was like, oh my God, he is building points like for real. And then the third day, we went to, where did we go? We went to go to
I want to
dinner or
bag up to the
something.
first date and throw something in that you missed.
I didn't miss it. They said no demonstration.
No. I'm talking about when I came to pick you up. When you finish the date, then I'm gonna go back to my first date when I came to get you.
Okay. Oh, I know what you're going to. Yeah, but then the third date, then we went to dinner, I think, and then that's when we really started talking about, what our plans were for the future as far as if we wanted kids, if we were, and some other thing we were done with that, and how whatever conversation we were having, it was like future talk, like really trying to find out if we were going to be match or together. So that was the third date, and I promise you, like you said, every single time we went out, it was just like this blessing and this covering of love on the dates. And we talked, we had a good time, we just enjoyed ourselves, and it was just really beautiful, like the whole courting phase. And then on the fourth date, we went to PF Chang's, and we decided, it wasn't like he asked me to marry him or I asked him to marry me. We were just talking about it, and we just decided collectively that we were going to get married that day. And it was like, oh my God, we are to get married when it was the fourth date. And like I said, I don't remember the story, but that's what he said. And it was the fourth date.
When we knew we were going to get married, what did I ask you?
About the sex thing?
Not sex, yeah, baby. We vowed we wouldn't have sex till we got married.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about. What was the?
I asked you to plan the perfect wedding day.
Oh yeah.
Write it out and give it to me.
He did. He asked me to plan the perfect wedding day, and I did. I just wrote the whole thing out, and he made everything happen that I had in it. The story that I wrote about my perfect wedding day. And it was, getting my hair done, getting my nails done, getting a massage, getting a wax. And whatever I wanted to do, he saw to it that it happened. And it was just beautiful, just full of
Why are you looking at me? Mavis. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Bishop,
I mean,
you making the rest of us look bad.
Bishop ain't making nobody look bad. Bishop is giving wisdom. Go, Bishop, keep it up.
Let me do two things. Before I connected with her, I would lay out my whole year. Breakfast, lunch, dinner for 12 months. I'd call all the restaurants, visit all the restaurants. So every other week, every month, I had a restaurant to go to. I just wanted to test them all from Beverly Hills on. So we decided we're going to go out. I go get everything, my car, got my my preacher,
That's your Sunday's best on.
I put my Mac Daddy on. So I go to pick her up. Was I in
the first day? The first
day?
Yeah, the first day.
Was I in my
Mercedes?
Yeah, so I pull up in my Mercedes, had it washed, all that stuff, and I pull up. Her daughter standing outside. Her daughter ain't a little girl. She got a nice body shape, but but she a big girl, maybe a little taller than me. Excuse me, I need to see your driver's license. I need to know where you're going. For my mama get in this car, I need to know some stuff about you. I'm like, is she serious? Yeah, she was serious.
Well,
I
That's
she
know
got,
what's
that's
up.
right.
she got a lot to say, and she said she told him to have me back home by 12 midnight.
Well, I know she was having some good fun.
She was serious.
That's
And
right.
she's still serious to this day.
Yeah.
This is her mama.
She thinks she is. You know how your kids get,
Right.
they start thinking they the parent.
So I get out the car, go over, open up her door, and she's staring at me like, Negro, bring my mama home. So we take off, we go to Pancho's, very nice place. I mean, I had been there several times. I used to date myself when I was single.
Mm,
So when I did connect with somebody, I know all the nice places to take them to.
that's good.
What's the one on Rosecrans where the last date? It's on Rosecrans Steakhouse.
Oh, Houston, you talking about?
You know, it wasn't Houston. Houston's on the left. Anyway,
remember
I had all my
Houston.
restaurants laid out. So we went to Beverly Hills. I asked you to get your dad, meet us at the restaurant in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, after we decided we were gonna get married, we had to tell my father, because you know he's
Been knowing me
bishop
since
and
I was
everything.
2.
And it was his dream. So we decided to invite him to dinner. So
I drove a separate car, had him and Mavis to connect, and they're at the counter. So Dad's saying, now I know this has to be something special because we out here in Beverly Hills and Mavis, what you up to? So I couldn't wait. I walked up and back of him and poked him. And he turned around, Corky, I knew it. So we hugged and we went and sat down. I couldn't decide which ring to get Mavis, so I bought her 2.
Mhm.
So the first one was nice.
I can't even keep that one in.
I was single, making a lot of money. So I said, I like that. I said, no, I like this one better. I said, give them both to me. So we get to the restaurant, and I went to the restaurant ahead of time, told them where I wanted to sit, where we're going to be sitting, and I brought the rings in and gave them to the maitre d'. And I said, do not bring the rings till I nod my head at you. So they were watching me all night. So had the salads come in, had the main entree come in, and we're eating. I'm next to Mavis. I think Daddy was here, huh?
Yeah, and Malik was.
And her little son, Mavis had brought her son, Malay. So everybody ordered. So we're eating main entree before dessert. I looked at maitre d' and I nodded. So he came over and set the bag right in. Yeah, I'm sorry. He came over and set the bag in front of me. I knew Daddy and Mavis would look. So I ate a little bit, picked up and just set them on the ground and went back to eating. I said, what? And they were like, I'm like, that ain't nothing. Let's finish. So try to play it off. And then Mavis kept looking. I said, you want to see it? So I picked it up, set it on the table. And I took the box out, opened. I'm like, tell me if you like that. She's like, wow.
That was Daddy that said that. You said that to Daddy.
Okay, yeah.
You said that to Daddy. Tell me if you like
that's
that.
right. I said, tell me if you like that, Bishop. So he's like, wow. I said, you like that? He goes, yeah. I said, you're gonna love this one. Took the next one out, popped it open. He goes, kiss her, kiss her. The entire restaurant, the lady stood up. Ooh, 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 ooh. All the ladies started looking and telling her congratulations and all kind of stuff like that. And Daddy screaming out loud on the top of his voice, kiss her, kiss her. Then he says, now you know you're gonna have to wait to get married.
Wait 6 months.
Y'all gonna have to wait 6 months. I said, Daddy, I don't have a problem with that. You know, no problem at all. And that it turned out really nice. But I had planned a second restaurant. It wasn't Maestro's. Maestro's became our favorite later. Fleming's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I reserved a table at Fleming's, but I wanted to spend time with Mavis at the what's the name of the one in Beverly Hills?
It's Fleming's. We went to Fleming's because we got rid of Daddy and Malik.
That's what I was gonna say. So we had the big party, did the ring. Okay, he gave us our blessing, and the restaurant on Rosecrans. We drive by it every.
It's Fleming's.
Okay, but in Beverly Hills, we went to it wasn't Fleming's in Beverly Hills. Fleming's was over here. Maestro's.
Yeah, but we went to Fleming's that night. Yeah.
In Beverly Hills.
No, we went on Rosecrans. We went to Fleming's.
No.
Trust me, I remember that night.
Let's keep the story moving. We can revisit that later.
That was Fleming's.
Fleming's was the second one.
Yeah, after
That's the
after
booth.
Daddy.
And then we went over and sat at the bar.
We went outside and set up the fire.
Absolutely. So the first restaurant I couldn't remember right now.
Oh, okay. I
The
can't
one
remember
where
either.
we had Daddy.
Okay, I
One
can't
of-
remember it
One
either.
of the best ones in Beverly Hills. We went there. And
Goodness.
so Daddy took Malik, Mavis and I got together. We went to the restaurant, we're eating, and it was almost like a perfect day.
No, it absolutely was a perfect day. Not almost everything worked out just so beautifully. I mean, no glitches, nothing. And I'm talking about the whole the day we met, got together that first date till like came back from the honeymoon. It was just like so beautiful and so full of love, and our wedding, people were still talking about our wedding
Today.
years and years later, because it really was the most beautiful thing that I had ever been a part of, and that's what everybody else was saying. This wedding had me feeling like I was getting married, and it was just like the blessing that was on it. And I'm telling you, it was just so beautiful. I couldn't have asked for nothing better. It was, all of our family was there. Of course, our friends were there, and it was just beautiful.
People were standing up before she came in. Standing up. The hotel, because I own the photography studios, I do a lot of work with them. They brought in a special chef to do our wedding.
Wow.
He had left, he came back, and they said, "Oh no, we're gonna have him do your wedding." And I'm like, "All right, just give me a number." So
see, that's part of the anointing, right? There was so much that went into this before. It was almost like you were making investments and pouring into other people, that when God actually shone the light on you two, people were clamoring to actually come and bless you because of the blessings that you had bestowed on them.
Yep.
Wow.
I want to unpack something.
Just right quick. How long have you guys been married?
2 years.
16.
16.
Oh, you got it right.
What did I tell you? I
16
told her,
years, yeah.
I told her, I said, "Listen, if you make the 4th date," and she like, but I was serious because I didn't want to have a mistake with God. Start kissing on her and trying to sleep with her before we got married, and we had promised Daddy we wouldn't. So we kept our vows, and God has been honoring us ever since, because we didn't break. Both of us was grown, we could have did whatever, but we honored God. And from a quiet little lady that told me, "Listen, I've been in church with my daddy all my life. I ain't doing nothing in your church."
So sit back and just watch.
I'm gonna sit back and I'm your wife. I'm not gonna be your first lady.
Wait, before
So
we move on, Bishop, I want to unpack something that you said earlier that I wrote down, and I thought it's quite pivotal. And I think it's a word we have people that listen that are married, that are divorced, that are single, that are getting prepared, trying to put themselves in the right light for marriage. And you said something. You said that when you were single, you dated yourself.
I dated myself.
And I think that's an important concept that I don't know that we've actually spoken to in the past. What do you mean by, why did you date yourself? Why was that important?
Well, he said it too.
Because I wanted to live the life of my dreams. I'm sorry, baby. I wanted to live the life of my dreams, whether I had somebody to share it with or not. So I always kept a book before January. I would go get my annual, lived off a calendar because I had real estate finance, I had photography studio that I owned. So I had to lock every day. So I said, once a month, I'm gonna take myself to the best restaurant. I'm gonna get my feet, my hair, I'm gonna get my massages, I'm gonna ball out because I was making the money, wasn't a problem, but I was traveling and working so hard, I wasn't taking care of myself. I said, I'm gonna create a life that I can share with somebody that I love. So January, I went for January first week, I put breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'd get on the phone. Hey, listen, what's the best hotel for breakfast in Beverly Hills? My sister was an international model, so she just rattle restaurants off like they're candy. So I do my breakfast, lunch, dinner for the next week, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So and then I said, how do I want to dress? What do I want to drive? I got the Mercedes. I started loving me on paper, and I knew where I was going to be, what days, whether I was in town, out of town. So I planned a calendar, 12 months for golf, for early golf games, going to whatever. And I was still a preacher, so I wasn't worldly. I mean, I got 7 brothers, 4 sisters, so I could have got into anything. But I wanted to honor God, especially with her dad. Her dad is and was my hero, and so when he talked, it was like my own father talking to me to treat my daughter right. So I knew if we got past, I was so passionate about Mavis. I knew if I went to the 4th date, I was that pimp daddy, Papa Daddy gonna come out. We were like, oh Lord, I said Jesus, and I'm gonna do it again. So can you help that sister stay away from me? No. So basically, yeah, I focused on dating myself, knowing good places, the best places to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I went there by myself. Walked in one day, and Tony Curtis it was a guy walking by. He slipped. I grabbed him and caught him, right? And he had a bunch of bodyguards that grabbed me. And he told him, let him alone. He saved me. He took me over to his table. Tony Curtis? Yeah, Tony Curtis walked up, and I got a chance to meet him. So I said, okay, if they're eating here, I'm in the right place. Mm-hmm. So this want to be one of my main spots. And when we got married, I said, baby, I'm gonna take you on a restaurant tour. So I started taking her to the places I would always go to. And the favor of God was so resting. I was gonna say heavy, was resting on us.
Yeah.
We would walk into an expensive restaurant and someone in the restaurant would pay for our meal before we ever ate.
Wow.
More than one time, over and over and over. And I'm like, girl, you bring me good luck. Even though I don't believe in luck, that was a favor of God. So
right.
Just knowing what you want. I had tailor-made shoes. I had slacks that in real estate, because I had nothing else to do but preach in real estate, I became the top realtor for the company. And they bought me a $1,500 suit, took me to the tailors, hooked it up, with shoes, everything. But Mavis is one of the clearest thinkers and purposeful mindset that me being Mr. Global and to buy anything and just I've always been in a position to bless people with money. So money comes to me, it flows. So when Mavis came in, she brought in a structure that you don't have to buy everything for everybody, and let's set our goals. So I've always taken care of other people, brothers, sisters, cousins, and things, but Mavis taught me how to be in a marriage. I don't know if you guys get that, but everything a man wants.
That's a good thing. But we're supposed to complete each other, right? Not
and because I say the same thing about him. He taught me how to be married because he had experience. We both had experience with it, but he had a different kind of experience with it than I did. And I mean, as far as showing yourself, as far as being connected with a person, as far as being the team concept, and he taught me a lot about being married. So we have both taught each other, which I think is really a basis for like a really healthy and long lasting relationship.
Mhm.
That's one of the foundational things that people should look for in their spouses. This person is going to help me to grow. This person is going to teach me something. Is this person going to be there? Is this person going to have my back? So yeah, he has definitely taught me how to be married too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So
I was always the leader in every group that I was a part of. And Mavis taught me how to pull back
mm,
because all of the codependence that other people had wasn't good for me because they start using you.
that's right.
So Mavis is a person that's always clear thinking, never gonna overcommit herself, and she's only gonna do what she tells you she's gonna do. So she don't let people just ruin her life. Nope. She draws a line. I'm like, babe.
Hey, that's good. I think you had a question.
Well, no, it was more of a statement, because I was kind of going like where you were going when Bishop, you talked about the whole dating yourself part, but the other part of that, I loved what you said, excuse me, about you went to all these fine places and you did all these things by yourself so that when you got into a marriage, you already know, I'm going to take this person here. I'm going to, you knew where to take them. You knew what to show them. So it's like, that's a different type of preparation, not just for yourself, but you were planning. And I love how beautiful it's beautiful to me how you waited. I mean, you knew you didn't go against, it's like, okay, the Lord dropped this in my spirit. And then you went and found Sally or whoever, you know what I'm saying? You're like, no, where's Mavis? And you were dedicated and you stayed obedient to what you said you wanted and to what God said that he was going to give you. And you waited for it. And I think that's why it was so beautiful too. Even though Mavis was being hard-headed, I'm gonna say it.
Preach and attitude too.
Cautious.
Ed had an attitude.
But I think that is so beautiful because not enough is said about that type of perseverance and determination. I know what I want because I prayed for it. The Lord dropped it in my spirit, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be obedient to that. And it's going to be beautiful when I get at the end result. And you got her. You already knew, even though she was kind of reluctant initially, but you was like, nope, I already got this. You just fall in line, girl. Let's just fall in line.
Plan is already in motion.
The blessing, the culmination was our wedding day.
Yeah.
There were so many women saying, I want to get married. There were so many people crying. I told you I had to play my player move. So I walked up the aisle and got her, danced her back.
Wait a minute. But first he was a flower guy. So he threw flowers down.
I walked up. Yes, thank you, baby. So
before he came back and
I had them to set a bag of all color roses. And my brother Twine was right next to me, and my other brother Derek. So I said, dude, don't let me forget these flowers. When I see her, I might just lock in. So y'all keep me on point. So Jamal, her oldest son, brings her, and I told him to stop them right far back. As soon as they step in the door, stop them. I'm gonna make a move. So then I started dancing, walked up to her, and looked in her eyes, and I just took the flowers and just let them fall. Then I take a step back, and then he stepped forward. I dropped some more flowers, just like raindrops, all the way down to the altar.
And all the men see, and that's what the ladies were doing to their husbands.
They were getting on them.
They were. They was like, you are making it hard.
We gonna do another wedding.
Yeah.
I know that's right, because we already said we're gonna do our vow renewal. We haven't done it yet. We've been busy, but I'm like, okay, we got this on tape. I'll be calling, just that
All I'm saying is if y'all come up from SoCal and you will be invited and you come up to this, don't jump up talking about they got that from us.
No.
Never that.
We don't play like that. We're there to celebrate and enjoy.
Yeah.
And Mavis is gonna be there to dance too, because the girl loved to dance.
That's right.
This is beautiful. I think people need to hear, if you haven't made it out yet, you hear the love and the joy that is in the voices of this 16-year newlywed couple that we're talking to. Because there's a life that's there.
But not only that, but I mean the fact that they've known each other for since they were 14. They were young and they went their separate ways and they had their separate lives just to come back and be together. That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I'm
gonna make you laugh on this one. I had a big reputation in the area, right? And I'm cool daddy. I walk up to anybody's door and ask where their daughter is. But somebody's mama saw me coming and she had that. I wish you would. I said, oh no, it's a whole lot of more fish easier than that. And I wasn't centered in Christ either. I was just, a young boy in the neighborhood, but I knew where she lived. I'm like, I'm gonna go holler at this one. And mama gave me that look. I'm like,
And I never knew that story until he shared the story. However many years ago that was. Of course, I didn't have no idea because my mother, of course, she didn't say anything because she didn't know that you were coming from me, of course, and I hadn't talked to you, so I didn't know that story either.
Hey, Iron Tribe. Thanks for tuning in for the first half of the interview with Bishop and Mavis McKnight. This week, you've heard all about the love. Tune in next week so you can hear all about the sex.